What's going on, folks? I'm Automatic. Today we're going to talk about transitioning into young Zeku. Now, I initially tried to make a video about Zeku's knockdowns and what you should do after when you do this, you know, etc, etc. But I think before you even get to that point, you have to understand how to actually get to the character in a position where he can be at his best. I do feel that there is some misperception perhaps about how good young Zeku is compared to old. I see sometimes on Twitter people say there's no reason to go, what does young Zeku offer that old doesn't? Why would you ever switch? So I wanted to talk about why I think there is a lot of good ways to get into young Zeku, and find out what his strengths really are, because his frame traps I believe are really good. His slide is ridiculous when you have V-trigger available. Basically, the long and short of it is, when you have V-trigger available, young Zeku is ridiculous, and a lot of it has to do with sliding into V-trigger and that kind of thing. So we're going to talk about 3 different knockdowns, but starting with old Zeku. Now you have a bread and butter with the standing medium kick confirm to the EX tech key. This knockdown specifically, I'm going to show you why this is a good knockdown when you have V-trigger. So we got our dummy program to wake up 3-frame, where you standing jab. Now when I get into this, and I slide immediately, we'll crush counter both knockdowns. And for the back recovery, it'll actually keep them in a crumple state. A standing crumple state. So this is obviously really good because you can combo off of it. You might even be able to get a crouching hard punch, or excuse me, crouching medium punch there, and even more so. So the beauty in this, if you have V-trigger available, is that if they're blocking, you can cancel it and be safe. Depending on when you cancel it, it varies how much frame advantage you have or don't have. In some cases, if you cancel it too late, you'll be punishable, which is a good idea. If I cancel it way too late, I can't block that. But if I cancel it immediately, I have frame advantage. I can counter him. I think crouching medium kick is 8 frames, maybe 7. So I'm probably like +4, 5 around there. So anywhere from what I can see, +5 to -3 or more. So it's around that area. So there's a big variance of when you cancel. So you do have to cancel it quite early to maintain that safety. So I'll show you an example of when they're blocking on the back recovery. So we're gonna have, how am I gonna do this? Guard first attack, that one. Okay. And they're gonna do back recovery and no wake up, so they're gonna block this. And I still have advantage there, so you have to cancel it quite early. And if that does crush counter, I get a big old combo. So, and even if you don't have V-trigger activation available, using the V-trigger itself is good too, because you have it's almost like you have a focus a dash cancel in Street Fighter from Street Fighter 4. And from here, if you do the sweep into the, I think it's called Idante, and your opponent is doing a 3-frame, you can actually frame trap them if you do it late enough. But as you can see, I'm more than just safe. I can have advantage. And just a note on this, you can actually frame trap within the Idante strings. You can do the same thing in both sections. This will actually trade, you can combo off of that trade. You wouldn't want to use all 3 bars there. If you have 3 bars, you would theoretically super, that does more damage, unless you're specifically trying to go into the V-trigger. In any case, I think that is a ridiculously good way to get into V-trigger with young Zeku. So that's one way. The other way is something that I very much so underestimated, and that's using a standing hard punch. Using old Zeku standing hard punch. Now, you can see here, not only am I safe, I'm +1 when I go to young Zeku here. And if that counter hits, if my crouching jab counter hits, I can combo to crouching medium punch. I can do from there, I can do the EX horizontal and whatever I feel is the right choice there. I think I get a meaty slide here. So, with that in mind, standing hard punch with old Zeku, we do have to talk about that a little bit. So this button reduces a lot of block stun from your opponent. In fact, I think it's the most block stun out of any of his old normals. So if you cancel into, well, specifically the boosted flip, this is going to keep them stuck in block stun the longest. So this is a good poke in general to use as old Zeku. Now, if it counter hits your opponent, you can combo off of that, but you're not really able to react to that crush counter in this specific. Maybe you can. But if you're specifically trying to go into young Zeku for this version, or for this sequence, you have a ton of advantage here. You have a lot of advantage. knockdown advantage that is. So you can use some frame kills, but I feel it's pretty awkward. You're gonna use like dash up or the run slide. That'll give you some frame kills, but I'll just show you. If I do this, I can frame kill up to a crouching hard punch, but that's not safe to do on block. If I have V trigger, it's okay. But if they back recover in that same scenario, they can punish the whiff animation of my crouching hard punch here. So what I suggest to do is learn the timing for standing short. Standing short or standing or crouching medium punch. I think, well, and crouching jab as well, I think it's very important to learn how to manually time Zeku's knockdown. In this situation, specifically, I think it's really good because you have a lot of time. So the standing short has 4 active frames, and it can link into the target combo without counter hit. Without counter hit. You don't need counter hit to actually link into this. Now, I will caution you against Laura's, Buki's, the characters who can mash a button and make their hurtbox shift backwards. You will see, I think, a medium punch here whiff. So what then you have to do is confirm off of the counter hit. So you do standing short and standing medium punch instead. And then when you see the counter hit, you would go into the target combo, which is better. You get more damage out of it, but you can't link standing short into standing medium punch unless you do it meaty. But we're not using a frame kill, so it's really difficult to eyeball hitting this meaty and then linking it to standing medium punch. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. We're gonna put the opponent on random, and we're gonna do crush counter here, crush counter, hard punch to those Zeku, and then meaty standing light kick. We gotta learn the timing for this. It's taken me quite a while to get this down, but it's well worth it. And I think it's absolutely doable. There we go. See how that counter hits? I can link it to standing medium punch. And then, if they don't quick rise, I suggest using crouching medium punch. There we go. So yeah, I think that is reactable in this case. In some cases, I don't think you can react to normal or back recovery, especially if you're using a heavier normal, because it has more startup, therefore you have less time to react and do the right decision. So crouching jab, and theoretically I think, gives you the easiest hit confirm. I mean, not hit confirm it. The easiest, you have the most window of time to actually react to which knockdown that they do. So in that case, if you're using crouching jab, you have less active frames to do it, but you can also link into that back medium, or excuse me, standing medium punch into the back hard punch, and then go into the target combo. Big damage. If you are looking just so you see an example here. I've already done tons of damage, and their stun is really high. So like the next decision and a half that I make is gonna stun them. They're gonna be in a world of hurt just by timing that standing light kick, that crouching jab, that crouching medium punch as well. So just to go over it again, standing light kick I think is a great tool for the knockdown, for manual timing knockdowns, because it has 4 active frames. You can link into this target combo. You can also link into some hit confirms into the shoulder. That's good too. And you got the crouching jab I think is great because you have a frame trap in the standing medium punch, and then the crouching medium punch. I highly suggest using that if they don't recover at all, because then you know for sure which one they're going to do. At that point, if they don't recover at all, you have a better visual timing to see when they're getting up, rather than deciding between the normal and back recovery. And I just to show you what that looks like. There we go. Easy peasy. So the last way I want to talk about going into young Zeku is also using his V skill, but in a different way. We're using the crush counter, crouching hard punch, and then confirming the crush counter into the roundhouse techie. Now this is going to change the juggle state. They're going to be higher in the air, so when you juggle them with your V skill, you're going to have more advantage on their knockdown. So first I want to show you no recovery when I do a regular V skill. My dash up itself gets punished. I actually can't block there. But if I do crouching fierce and then do the V skill here, you can see how much higher they are in the air. It's going to take them longer to get to the ground, therefore it's going to give me more time to get to them on wake up. And I think at best you can get to +2. Yeah, +2, because my medium punch is 5 frames. Let's see if I can get this. Should be able to get a meaty standing medium punch on their normal recovery as long as they do this correctly. But you absolutely do have more advantage here. So what I would suggest there, since the execution is a little bit finicky, you might juggle them too low and you'll have less advantage. I would suggest doing a standing light kick maybe, or preferably even a crouching jab in this situation. So just to give you that example. I think that's much better. It's not optimal, but I feel it's more safer to do this, and you don't sacrifice that much damage. I think that's it. I should also point out that this crouching hard punch from old Zeku, you have a lot of time to cancel it, so you absolutely can hit confirm this. But I think the later you hit confirm it, the less knockdown advantage you will have, because they'll be lower in the air. So that's it for now. I always got a review in my head if I got everything. Yeah, off of the back recovery in this situation, if you get a crouching hard punch, now we'll crush counter them. I should be able to do crouching hard punch and then crush counter. We'll give it a few shots. If I don't get it, I guess, you know, I'm gonna take my word for it. There we go. And then from here you can get the target combo, dash up target combo. So yeah, I think that's gonna improve the way that people go into young Zeku. And there's a few other ways here and there. Sometimes you just go into young Zeku if they're a projectile kind of character. You just, you know, go under the fireball, and you have lots of things to work from there. But yeah, that's it for now. I hope we learned something. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I'm automatic. I was this close to doing the Bushin style thing.